So before we start, can someone give us a recap, probably of what you learned last?
Okay, last time we were learning how to add Google Maps, images, and video from YouTube to the website.
How that's good. So did everyone manage to do that? Were we all able to add maps, images, and maybe on the previous items like the paragraph, headings? Okay, so so today we are going to look at we'll look at lists. We'll look at the type of lists you can add to our website. We'll look at what else? Links. We'll see how we can add links. And there are like two types of links that we're going to look at. And also, we'll even look how we can make an image. We can make an image, a link out of an image. Like you can click the image to take you to another link. Sawa. So I'll share my screen so that we see. We'll also look at forms, see how we can create forms on a website, okay? So for today, share screen. Okay, so we can start this in a new file so that you have a new page for your website. Then within the session, we'll also look at how we can create links that will take us to the other page and so on. So let us all open your Sublime Text, and go to File and say New File, as I've done here. Then you can make sure you save the file. You can save it to the same folder that you've been working on. So here I have my index.html file, and I'm going to add this new file. I can call it contact.html. Okay, so just call it contact.html and save. Sorry?
venye ameshare screen I can't access vitu zingine. Nataka ku minimize.
Someone having problems minimizing? So as we all remember, first we declare the type of document that we are with Sublime Text, it gives us an easy way of typing the skeleton of the document. At the moment you start typing HTML and you press enter, it will give you the entire skeleton where we define the document type as HTML. We open the HTML tag and we have the head and the body section. For our title, we can say Coders at American Space. Okay. Then inside our body, we'll now do our lists, we'll do links, we'll do forms, and also tables if we have enough time. Okay. So we'll look at these 4 items. Are we all together up to that point? This is not code. This is just me telling you what we are going to do today. So if you are stuck, kindly speak up or write on the chat. My colleagues will assist you so that we all move together. So we'll start with lists. So we have 2 types of lists. We have ordered and unordered lists. Ordered and unordered lists. Ordered and unordered lists. Okay. So the ordered lists are the ones where they follow a specific order, that is 1, 2, 3, and so on. Unordered lists, these use bullets as in like a dash or whichever type of bullet that you need. So we'll look at, we'll start with the ordered list. So we can put a paragraph and say, this is an ordered list. Okay. So here we'll define the unordered list. So the tag used to define or to create an ordered, sorry, this will confuse us. So ordered, we're going to create ordered list, a list which has a specific order. So ordered lists are defined using OL. So when you press enter, Sublime Text will autocomplete for you. So it's important to close immediately so that you don't forget to close. Now You can press enter for proper alignment and organization of your code. Then now within the ordered list tag, now you can add the list items. So normally a list is comprised of list items. So we can say so an example of ordered list, we can say maybe list of counties. Okay, this is something that makes sense. So, and the list items, we can add list items to this list of ours. List items is given by LI. So as we all know, our county is county number 1. So the first list item will be Mombasa. Then we can say Kwale. Is it Kwale? And the third one, our very own Kilifi, and so on. So you can continue the list if you know the order. So let me save this. Then we open it in the browser. So when we open this in the browser, you'll be able to see the list, and it's given in numbers, all right? It's given in numbers. So this is the code that is used to generate that list. So I'll also put the unordered list here. List of fruits. You can do fruits here. Now fruits, we don't really need a specific order, so we have an ordered list. An ordered list is UL, and then the list items, the list ordered list, an ordered list is UL, and then list items. So list items is LI, as we've been doing in the ordered list. So we can have banana, we can have orange, pineapple. Okay, so when we save that and we check on our browser, we refresh, be able to see the unordered list. Are we all together up to that point? Is there anyone who is stuck somewhere or did not get any of these points? Okay, good. Okay, so can someone remind us on how we can add an image? Before that, let us look at links. Let us look at how we can add a link. So links on HTML, we use the anchor tag. We use the anchor tag, and anchor tag is given using a. Okay. So this is the format of an anchor tag. When adding images, we saw that the image tag has options. You can have options such as width, height, source of the image, and so on. So with the anchor tag, one very important option of the anchor tag is href. So href, this defines where this link will lead us to. So for instance, let us create a link to our website, to Pwani Technogirls website. So you'll get the link to where you want. So you'll go to the website, you copy the link, okay? Then you come to your anchor tag, under href, you put the link to your website within the quotation signs, okay? And then between the opening and the closing tag, you can put the words that will be displayed on the website. So let's say Wani models, okay? So when you save this, and you check on the website, on the browser that is, you can see here, you have the word displayed, and as you can see, it is also underlined and it is in purple in color. This means also when you put the cursor on top of the words, you should see the link being displayed at the bottom left corner of your browser. So when you click on it, it will load the website that you have put in your code, okay? Now, as you can see, we clicked on it and it opened on the same page, okay? It opened on the same page. So the anchor tag, here is the anchor tag, Nuru. I'll also add another one. So A space, do href. Then you put the link to the website between the quotation marks. Or within the quotation marks, you put the link to the website, and you put the words, let's say website, okay? Then you close the anchor tag. So I want you to know that there are usually two different types of links. let me put a paragraph here. So there are two types of links. That is relative and absolute. Okay, relative and absolute links. Okay, so the first one here, this is an obsolete link. So let me just reverse this. So this first one, this is an absolute link, because by absolute, what we mean is you have the full
Chai. So let's give him a minute and see if he'll join. Maybe he's lost power.
sorry. So for an obsolete link, it takes us, you put the link to the specific website that you want. So remember in our folder, we started by saying that you create a new file, you name it contact.html in the same folder that you've been doing your website. So maybe for me, the other file is called index.html. This is the one with the heading, the headers, and my video that I embedded in the website. Okay, so for the relative link, I'll show you here. This one, what it means is it links to another page, probably of the website, of the same website, and it gives the link to that page in relation to the current location of this file. I'll repeat that. So as you can see that this file contact.html, now we want this href to take us to another page, and we're going to give, so for instance, for this one, we just say index.html, okay? So since they're in the same folder, you just give its name. If it was in a different folder, let's say if in here we had a folder called images, okay, then index.html was inside images, what we would have done here, we would say images stroke index.html. So this will tell the browser that look at the current location of this file, which is contact.html. Now, in the same folder, you'll find a folder named images. Then inside that folder, there'll be a file called index.html. So it tells the browser the location in relation to where it is currently. So we'll test this, we'll save, then we refresh on the browser. So as you can see here, they are put side by side. We have the first link, which is a relative link, which is an obsolete link to, it's a complete link to Technogar's website. Then the second item is website. When you click on it, it will open the other file, which is index.html. Okay. So now this relative link, we can say it's like our navigation. So we can even cut it. You can cut it and put it at the top. Okay. So this will take us, instead of website, we can say home, because this takes us to the home page. I'll take this back. I want them to be in the same folder. So we can add another link. Contact. So the first one will take us to the index page. The second one will take us to the contact page, which is the current page. So if we don't want it to take us anywhere else, you can put the hash. Since it's the current page, even if someone clicks on it, they won't be redirected to the other page. So here we have our menu. So we have the home and we have the contact. So contact, remember we put a hash. So when you click it, you still remain in the same page since this is our contact page. And you can see here, it somehow adds the hash, okay? So we can copy this menu part and put it in all the files that you have. So this section, it will be like our navigation. I'll also put it in my index file. But now here, I'll have to change. And this one will be contact.html. And then for the index, you can just put a hash. Or also you can leave it as it is because it has no harm. Okay. So now when you refresh your website, you can go to the home page. Okay. So if someone clicks the home page and you have it, it will reload again and again. Okay. And I can click the contact to go to the contact page. Okay. So the relative link, okay, I'm looking at your comments. The relative link as I've shown you here, when you put the full address to the website, that means it is an obsolete link, where it takes, you give the exact link, the full URL to that website. Now, when you put like the name of the file, this is relative, meaning it is relative to the location of the current file. So if this is the contact file, what the browser will do, it will try to check now from where the contact file is there an index.html file within the same folder? If you specify, let's say, a name of a folder, then followed this by the slash, it will check, is there a folder called image? Then inside that folder, is there another file called index? So it is relative to the location of that file. For obsolete, it gives you the full URL of the website. So now when you're creating your website, it's good to use the relative links, especially for your menu. Because if you want to navigate within your website, it's good to use the relative links, because you don't have to, just in case you decide you're going to change the domain name of your website, then that won't affect your menus. Your menus will continue working because it's looking at the relative position of the file. Now, can someone remind us how we can someone remind us how we add images to our website? Anyone? You can paste the code on the chat. Or you can share your screen. Anyone willing to do that? Anyone to share the So here, if we all remember this, you can add an image using the image tag. Then the source will be the name of the image. So inside
Please.
our folder.
Shall I please share your screen?
Oh, gosh. Okay. Can we all see?
Yes.
Okay, so the image tag, oh yeah, I have an image inside the folder. Let me put it under this folder called IMG. So inside our website folder, I'm organizing my images inside this folder called IMG. And I have that image called coders.jpeg. So here for my source, I'll say img slash coders.jpeg. Okay. .jpeg. All right. So when we refresh here, you can see the image is placed there. Okay. So now we want such that our image to be clickable. Like when someone clicks on the image, they be taken, let's say, to Technogirl's website. So here you can see that between the image, the anchor tags, we have the word Technogirls, right? So instead of having that word, we can remove the word, then we place the image between, we can place the image between the anchor tag, right? So when we do that, we save, then now when you click on the image, it's going to load the website, all right? So you can also have images to be clickable, as we've seen here. So you just put the URL as normal, and then in between you can have the image. So for instance, you can have this organized like that so that we have more options. So for instance, as we said, we can have more options like width. So we can make this very small, 24 pixels, and height, 24 is very small, 150 pixel, 150 by 150, okay? So maybe this is a logo or something, Let's see. So if this is your logo, you can have this as your logo, place it at the top. In fact, let's move it. You can move this to the top, right? And move this here. So here we have our logo, okay? But we've noticed if someone clicks on our logo, they're taken to Technogirl's website, okay? So we can choose We can change where this takes us. So we can say maybe this one will take us to index.html. Okay. So when someone clicks on the logo, they are taken to the home page. Let me put it the home page also. Okay, so the image takes us there. You click on it, it loads the page again. Can go to the contact page, back to the home page. Okay, so later on we'll see how to make these things look more beautiful using CSS and all that, JavaScript. Okay, so are we all together? This is home page. Okay, so here this is our anchor tag with an image in between. The image, we've made it very small, like 150 by 150. Can make it any size you want. Now, so with the same concept, you can add icons to your social media. Let's say there you have these icons here. I think they're not properly loaded. Yeah, so the way we have these icons here, the Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and LinkedIn. So you can do the same concept as this one, but now the URL will be the link to your, let's say to your Facebook page. So let me copy this link. We use that as an example. So you put the link to your Facebook profile, then I'll use a word for now, since I don't have the logo. Let me just get the logo. Okay, so we have our logo. Now instead of the word Facebook, we'll put the image. So it is in the IMG folder. and it's named FB logo.jpg. Okay. So as you've seen, it's the anchor tag with an obsolete URL to our Facebook profile. And then we are using the Facebook logo. Let's see how that looks like. Okay. We can control the size. So width, we can give it 50 by 50. Let's make it smaller. Okay. When we refresh that, we have the Facebook logo. But then for your website, you will not want, so that for you to keep your users on your website, it is advisable to set the link such that when someone clicks on it, it takes them to a new tab. So for you to make a link to go to a new tab, you'll need to add the option. So there's an option called target, and you can say target blank. Okay. So when you add this option, target blank, it will make this link to open in a new tab. So any link you add to your website that is meant to take people to a different website, it's advisable to make sure it opens in a new tab so that you don't lose your people on from your website, because they may go check you out on Facebook, then they'll forget to come back to your website. Okay, so it's good to put that so that they are taken to a new tab. So as you can see now, when we click on Facebook, it opens in a new tab, and they can still continue checking out your website. Okay. So that's it about any question on links. So here we can put a heading and say table. Let us look at tables. HTML table. Okay. So for a table, as it says, we all know that tables comprise of columns and rows. Now for the columns, yeah, tables are made of columns, rows, and cells. Okay. So a cell is an intersection of a row and a column. So we'll create a table very quickly. So we have the table tag that will define the beginning and the end of our table. Then within our table in HTML, we normally go row after row. Okay. So we have a first row, say table row, right? Well, let me add a couple of rows. A second one, and the third one. Okay, so our table will have the 3 rows. Then, so within our first row, we normally have, now within for the columns, we have TH and TD. Now for TH, this is table header, and TD is table data. Now for the TH is a tag. I'll show you how it's used. So this one, mostly you'll use it for the first row, so that the text will be given a header kind of formatting, so that it looks different from the other rows where you'll probably have your data. So we have those two tags. So for the first row, we'll use TH. So our first, we'll have 2 columns. Let's say this is a shopping list. So instead of saying HTML table, we can say shopping table. Okay. Now let's do a menu, a food menu, that is. Right. So we'll have the meal. So I want you to visualize this table. So this is a table, and the first row, now we will scan through the first row where we have the meal in the first column, and the second column will have the price. Okay. So we should remember that we have two columns in our table. So when we go to the second row, we can have, let's say, now we'll use TD for the data. So the name of the meal, let's say this is the breakfast section. I have chai, and TD is the price. Let's say this one is 50. Then the third row, we'll have another item. Mahamri. Okay. And its price, say 10. Okay. So if I've lost you, kindly let me know. So with that there, can refresh our page. So as you can see here, this is the H2 we had placed before the table. Then our table here has 2 columns and 3 rows, okay? And the table, the header items are in bold and centered. As you can see, this one, this is centered. And then we have our list of items. So this is how you set up a table, or you create a table using HTML. Now, as you can see, our table has no borders or any formatting. So kindly research on that. You can say, you check, you research. Sorry, I'm not getting you, Wamuyu. Why didn't I put TH under T head? So after that, we have the table, and then within the table we have rows. Okay, so we have the first row, the second row, and the third row. Now, within the first row, which we want it to be our header, which it will contain the headings for each column. Now we can use TH. TH is the tag that is used to define a table header. So it's still a row, it's a normal row, but now the data which we want to put there, we want it to be treated as the heading of the columns. Okay. So I also want, so you can add some styling to your table. You can add some styling to your table. That is done by using the word style. You'll learn more about styling under CSS. Once we learn CSS, we'll do more styling. I'll just tell you a few. So you do that by style, then in quotes, let's say the width. If you say 100, if you say 100%, the table will cover the whole page, okay? As you can see, it has been expanded to cover the entire page. So anyway, what we need mostly is border. So border, we can say 5 pixel, then border style, have to add border style, and say solid, okay. So as you can see, it added a border of 5 pixels that is solid, okay. So this is called inline styling. We'll look more into this once we get to CSS. You can do the same to the table rows. Maybe here you give it a border of 2. But now inline styling is a bit tedious because you'll end up doing it in all those tags. So we'll learn how to do this in a better way. Okay. Doesn't work here. So, so within the head, we can have the title and any kind of styling that we like to add to our website. Now this is CSS. We'll do this in a later session. So I just wanted to add this for the sake of the table. We use the tag style. Then the format that we use, you say style and also define that the type is CSS text, okay? So when we say table, TH, and TR, whatever styling we define within these brackets, curly braces or brackets, okay? Whatever style we define in here will affect all the table, TH, and TR tags. So around the table, TH and TR will have a border of 2 pixels and of the style solid, right? So as you can see here, around the table itself, around TH, we have the borders, but within the TD, we didn't specify TD, so TD was not given any borders. But if you add TD here, then you'll also get the borders, okay? So you can do some research on CSS and learn how to add these stylings before maybe the next session, where we'll do more on that. Are we lost? So I want us to look at forms, and we'll create a small contact form at the bottom. So if you'd like to do this in a new page, you can do that. The procedure of creating a new page is just we go to new file, you create a new file, then and you save the new file inside the same folder. You can also add the navigation. You can add the navigation, and also remember to add that new page to the navigation. Since we have the index and contact, we'll also add the new page. Okay. So for me, I'll just put my form here. I'll put my form in the same page. So who can guess what element or what tag are we going to use for our form? Who can try? We've done tables, we've done links, and so many other tags. I think by now you can have a small idea of yes, very good, Wamuyu. We'll use the form tag. So form. Always remember to close before you start even putting the contents. Because without doing that, you may end up doing a very long form and forget to close it, okay? So always remember to close your tags. Now, forms, as we all know, forms let me check if we have an example somewhere here. Yeah, so here you can see here under this website, there is a contact form. There are a number of fields. We have the name field, the email, the subject, the message, and then we have a submit content button, all right? So we can try such a form. We do these fields. Now, a form is mostly made of elements, input elements, and yeah. So a form is made of different form of or different types of input elements. We have text fields like what we have here: the name, the email, the subject. All these are text fields. We have for the message, this is a text area because it's a bigger box. We also have we normally have checkboxes. You can have the checkboxes. We have the radio buttons. So we look at all these, see the differences, and see how we can use them. Is there someone with a question before we continue?
I have a question.
Yes.
Maybe how does one go in arranging where maybe an image or like the form or a table, like in this case we can see it's well arranged. So using Sublime Text, how do one arrange? Yeah? Like the one you are using, we are going, it's like horizontal, we are going downward now.
Yeah.
But in this case, you find that in every page, every item is well arranged.
Properly arranged, yeah. Okay. So we'll get to learn all this. So we'll just go step by step. There's a framework, a website building framework called Bootstrap. So we'll look at Bootstrap. So what Bootstrap does, it divides the width of a website in 12 columns, sorry. So you can organize your work. So let's say the contact form, as you can see, between the contact form and the contact info section, these look like probably they used 8 columns for the contact form and the remaining 4 columns for contact info. So using that, we'll be able to organize our website. And there's a tag called div, okay, called div. Now the div tag, what it does is we use this to define blocks within the page, and then we can fill in the blocks with content. So we'll get to that, and we'll be able to see how this is done, all right?
Okay.
So our form, we've said the form is made up of input elements. For this one, it doesn't have labels, but we will do both. So so what we'll do, we'll have a label. So let's say full name. Then an input field for that label is given by the tag input, okay? Then, as you can see, Sublime has told us input has the option type and the option name. So for type we can say text because the name is text, right? Then the name we can say F name, like to mean full name, all right? And then we can put a break at the end so that it goes to a new line. Let's save this and see our progress. Okay, so here you can see this is a normal title, H2. It's here. Then we did a label. We did a label. The label was full name. Then the input field. So here, this will allow users or visitors to a page to write, to fill in their names within that box, all right? So the next one we also do a label, okay? Maybe this is a form we are collecting information about someone. So gender, we can do input. Now here, the type will be the type will be radio. And the name, we can say gender. Okay. And we put a break. Now with radio, we need to define we need to give it the options, because for gender, you'll probably have options there for someone to select. Probably you give the person the option to select between male and female. So here we can have gender, the name is gender, then can do value. So the first one will be male, right? The first one will be male. Put a break here. Put the label. Then we can copy this and do the same to have female. Then the value of this one will be female. So as you can see here, we have gender, then the first input is male, and the second one is female. So if you check, the name is what will control, or the name will make sure that So as you can see in this one, it means whatever the person will enter in that input field, it's going to be saved under the field F name. So probably you have a database somewhere where this data is going to go to. So that information field there will go to the field name F name. Now, if you have, for the radio button, we all know that we have to force the user to select only one of the options. As you can see, when you select male, the female one gets deactivated, right? So what you do, you make sure that both the male and the female options have the name gender. This will tell the browser that these two input fields are related, and the selection between them will be sent to the field called gender. Okay. Now we can have a scenario where we want someone to select either one or more options, and for that we'll use the checkbox. So here, let's say it's mode of transport, then maybe public or private means. Okay, public means, then this one will be private means. So with coding, we'll do a lot of. So now for this one, the name we can say transport, all right? Transport, both of them is transport, okay? Then the value, so what you specify in the value, if someone selects this option, this is what is going to be sent to the submission, okay? So the value for this one is public. Here we are saying public, and here private, right? Or maybe let's say school where studied, okay? That you read in a private school or a public school. Now for this one, it won't be radio. Instead, we'll have checkbox, okay? Let me show you how it looks as you continue to finish up the code. So as you can see here, we have the full name, we have gender. So under gender, we have male and female, and someone can select either of them. Then for the school where I studied, one can either select public or even both, okay? So you may have started in a public school and finished in a private school, so you can select more than one option. And both options are going to be submitted once you click on submit. Then here we have this break so that it takes us to a new line, to force the browser to create a new line. There you can change. You can also change the order. You can have these inputs before the label. I've just noticed they look weird. You can have the inputs before the label. You can have the labels after the input. Like that. So this one makes more sense. So like here, if you want the input to go below the label, you can just put the break tag. So this break tag, it just introduces a new line, all right? So as you can see here, have it in a new line. And the third option, maybe community school. Okay. Are we together? So we can also add a button, maybe to submit, have input, type, you can say submit, and the name is submit, and have a value, submit, right? So this will create a submit button. Okay, have a submit button here. So you can add the submit button. So we can also have a drop-down list. We can also create a drop-down list. You say label. Maybe favorite car. Okay. Favorite car model. Then, so for a drop down, we use the select and the name. We can say car, right? Our favorite car. Then we have the options. Option. So you need to have the value also, so that when this option is selected, we check which value will be submitted. Okay. So you can have, let's say, Toyota, and so you can add as many options as you'd like. Range. So I'll have those two for now. So as you can see here, you can switch between different. So favorite car model is a drop down. You can select any of the available options. So you look at this more in our next session. We'll look at more input fields that we can add to our forms and how we can make it look better, not as unorganized as it is here. I can see time has really moved. So anyone with the question, I think we can end here, and we'll be able to just go do more research on forms, even on tables, on the items that we've learned today. Just look at them. They're good resources online you can check from. There's one, W3 Schools. You can look for them and you'll learn more about it, and we can add on that in our next sessions. So any questions maybe before I lock anyone out? I hope we've learned a lot for today. So I think we'll end our session here today. Ruth, anything to add, maybe to tell the team?
No, actually, the session has been very, very great. Just to encourage them, as you've said, to just do more research. Even after the session, when we share the video, they need to do a lot of research on different tags and areas that you've covered, and they will be good, because I believe next week we are going to start with CSS. So it becomes very easy if everyone is able to do their own research and not to wait until our next coding session. Yeah, so thank you so much for the great session.
Okay, thank you. So you have a lovely afternoon, everyone, and